Sabalenka to get us started.
Aryna Sabalenka to serve. Ready? Play.
Well, good morning to you.
And good morning to what I think we're going to see quite a lot of today. She says she's tamed the tiger recently. Aryna Sabalenka, you can see that tattoo on her left forearm. Not tamed too much though. And power-wise, there's no contest, is there?
No, and you'll watch Sabalenka. With her now, one of the differences in her game, she used to just muscle the ball and hit so hard, but was muscling it. She really isn't anymore. It's much more effortless, which means much more control on those groundies. Got the nails going on, matching.
Talked a little bit about her outfit in her press conference the other day. A delicious backhand up the line. Said she felt a little bit like Barbie in it.
As I say, I'm going to have to see this movie so I know what everyone's talking about. And that's not easy, to take that middle ball and then find that angle. And you see Burel right from the beginning, maybe strategically going to try to just keep a lot of balls down the middle, get her feet wet in this match.
A great start for the second seed, looking to take over that world #1 ranking. She holds to love. Winner of
doesn't look nervous at all.
I just hope he's got his tactics right.
And Burel, she chose to return serve, so that hoping that Sabalenka would have a little bit of nerves, would not be herself right off the bat.
She was wrong.
Yeah, incorrect.
Good try.
And that's just so good. She's giving herself plenty of margin, is Sabalenka. Hitting with enough spin that keeps just what is an incredible weight of shot, keeps the balls in the court. It's pretty remarkable.
Taking up a slightly different return position, return stance. And that's a big problem for Clara Burel. That's the weakness, is the serve. And she's going to have to go for a little more perhaps on that second than she's used to doing because of the quality of the Sabalenka return.
And you got to hope for a lot of those, but right from the get-go, Burel, she's just under an extraordinary amount of pressure. You look across the net and you see Sabalenka, and you know that she's just coming at you right away. I don't think that one registered. That was a 64-mile-an-hour serve. That
30-40.
That's not going to get it done. And if you're Burel, you've got to, in your mind, like, okay, do I take something off the first serve just to get it in, because that second serve is just sitting up like a little pancake.
inside. She was luring Sabalenka in with a shorter slice. Didn't quite come up with the goods after that, however, and it's an early break. I remember watching Aryna Sabalenka lose to Ekaterina Alexandrova a while ago. And Alexandrova looked like she beat her by returning a lot to her feet, also serving at her body, going back behind her.
But that's a player that's Alexandrova. She's got some power also.
Different player from Burel.
And, yeah, completely different, and can, in essence, almost go toe-to-toe. Not quite, but has enough game that she can hang.
But essentially, are those the tactics that you think are right? Going right back at Sabalenka on the return of serve.
I agree with that, but only if you can do it with power. Only if you can maybe get her a little bit off the back foot, and that's so difficult. And Burel, unfortunately for her, does not possess that type of power. And so far as you're watching, we're at 2-love, 15-love. Just, it's almost an unfair matchup at the moment.
Greg Allensworth from the USA in the chair, just telling Sabalenka, I think the foot fault machine is not working, so he will do it manually. We're going old style today. She's quick.
She moves extremely well, does Burel. And for Sabalenka, a little confident right now. Decides I'm going to, try to work on my touch a little bit. Didn't work out so well there. But you understand the idea, and maybe working on a couple of things that, as she progresses, not that this match is far from over, but that she would need.
Huge serve right down the tee.
30-15.
114 miles an hour, 183.4 kilometers an hour, if that's the way you think. Anton Dubrov in the Water is Life hat. I wonder if he likes fishing.
Yes.
Used to, of course, work with Dmitry Tursunov. Had a successful run together. This is a good relationship, it seems.
I think this is a great relationship that she has with Dubrov. He's a little comparatively to Tursunov. He's a little more low-key. Tursunov's got the big personality. You had two people with two big personalities, Sabalenka and Tursunov, and they worked well together, but a little combustible. This is someone grew up in Belarus, knows him, was her hitting partner. They match up extremely well.
Tries it again. This drop shot was better, a little lower. Burel not quite able to pick it up.
And now that we've seen a couple of these drop shots, you're thinking that they strategically thinking, okay, well, maybe we'll bring her in some too. Not as comfortable at the net, but she does move very well, but much better. As you said, Candy, just that drop shot, she had to get below the net in a much different proposition. When someone hits a drop shot and you get to swing above the net, that's not a good. That's
not going to end well.
Nope, nope.
And of course, on the hard courts, the ball is bouncing up, and you've got the traction underneath your foot. Unlike the clay courts, it's easier to get there. like just wide. We are using, of course, the
You
electronic line
can't,
calling.
this is, you can't challenge. He talked about the challenges. The things you can challenge, they'll do the close call thing, so just to make you feel good that, oh, it was a right call, but you don't. The only things you can challenge are, oh, I thought the ball bounced twice. It was a not up. It was, oh, it touched her, something like that. Not the actual line calls.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
This is what you want to follow a double fault with. Good first serve, safe first serve. Let the rest of your game do the rest.
6 winners already for Sabalenka. First serve percentage around the 50 mark.
Left. Second serve. Game, Sabalenka.
And the Bryan brothers watching on as Sabalenka does hold. It was a little more tricky, this one. Gets over the line and leads 3 games to love. Clara Burel to serve, down love 3.
Well, it will be night and day for her, for Burel, if she can get first serves in, at least get herself into the point. Because when she's hitting those second serves, she is at such a disadvantage and doesn't even get into it. So this is where she is in huge trouble in a situation like this, looking at a second serve. And look at Sabalenka, she's so imposing standing there.
That must be a scary proposition,
It is scary.
mustn't it, for Clara Burel hitting a second serve.
I mean, just her mere presence, it is intimidating, and got to get that first serve in.
Hasn't been doing it enough today. First serve percentage is now going to fall to around 35%. And the double fault comes as a result of the imposing returner. Won just 2 games at this stage last year, did Burel, against Sabalenka.
Well, at least the serve got her into the point for 1 shot. Just the power of Sabalenka, but can't emphasize enough how she is also giving herself margin. She hits with topspin. She moves that ball around, and that topspin keeps it in the court. And that is one of the reasons why we've seen this incredible progression from her in the last couple years, where she's about to become #1 in the world. This match very much on the Sabalenka racket. She knows it, Burel knows it. Everyone in Louis Armstrong knows it as well. And that brings up a big roar of approval. First ace for Clara. Zero for 4 in the past against top 10 players. She nails one at 92 miles an hour.
advantage at Sabalenka.
And then there's the movement aspect of Sabalenka also, and you just look at how she's become really a complete player and worked incredibly hard on the fitness, covering more balls.
She's certainly come out of the shadows, literally and physically. A thumping return. Winner number 8. And 2 breaks in hand for love. Sabalenka, as Elise mentioned, does have a chance to overtake Iga Swiatek as the world number 1. She'll need to at least equal Iga's results to move there, though. And just a reminder, you can download the US Open app to follow your favourite players, track the latest scores, stats, match highlights, player news and more. It's available in the App Store and Google Play Store.
So you know last year when Sabalenka was struggling so mightily with the serve, and Anton Dubov, her coach, the whole team, they offered to resign, and she said, absolutely not. I'm going to figure this out. And they brought in the biomechanic expert, and just a fascinating guy whose name is Gavin McMillan, and going to, as the match progresses, talk a little bit about how he approached the things that she needed to work on. And it was the serve and the forehand were the 2 things in his mind. But the one thing that he says is, this was not mental. As everyone said, this was all mental. It was all in her head, the serves, the double faults. And he said, no, it really was a biomechanical thing. She was not pronating with her. What he said was there was no upward motion with the serve. He had to prove it to her, prove to everyone that this was not mental. He worked on the left arm, pronating to the right, and says that you have to repeat and repeat and repeat, which we all know.
Oh, the serve is holding up beautifully, isn't it? 5-love. Well, we're on Louis Armstrong Stadium today. And a bit of a one-sided affair so far. Burel trying to get on the board here in her 3rd service game. Sabalenka, at least, really has been the measure of consistency, hasn't she? She's made the 3rd round at all 4 majors this year. Now has the chance to make the 4th round at all majors for the first time in her career.
We talked about the biomechanics coach. They brought him back because she had been struggling with her serve. And I think that there were a couple matches this year. She has been incredibly consistent. But was it that match against Mahova? With the French
Open semi-final.
And then Jabeur at Wimbledon. Here she's in these semis. But she was in the driver's seat and then had those moments where the serve didn't come through when there was a little bit of a, not a meltdown, but in essence for her at that point in the match, she should have been able to just run the match out, and there were stumbling blocks. So he's back.
And that's a big roar for Clara Burel. Much better serving from the Frenchwoman. She's picked up her first serve percentage massively. And I think she's got a couple of fans on Louis Armstrong today.
Oh, it's such a relief when you are on that end and you have not won a game, when you finally get it, you can breathe. You can breathe again, and then hopefully start to find some better tennis.
Sabalenka has actually lost to 2 players with a higher or worse ranking than Burel this year. Fell to Sofia Kenin and Aryna Sabalenka. Neither of those bad losses, though. Kenin won, she was exhausted. And Castella, of course, has shown what she can do this week.
Huge win over Rybakina last night.
Biggest seeded casualty so far in the women's draw. Rybakina, Sakkari, Garcia all out. It's a warm day here in New York, and the play of Sabalenka is absolutely scorching.
41.
Her 11th winner of the set brings up triple set point.
Missed that one up the line, the higher part of the net. But one of the other things that has just changed so much in Sabalenka is her patience, and she builds her points. As you watch her building those points with the huge cross courts where you have the better margins. She sets the points up with the cross court. At times, finishes with the down the line.
Only a matter of time, takes her 26 minutes in all. Sabalenka has 1 foot in the next round.
Second set, Burel serve.
Well, if you're just tuning in, probably no surprise, as you've seen the score. Clara Burel managing just 1 game in that opening set. This time last year, she went down 6-love, 6-2 at the hands of the now world number 2, Aryna Sabalenka.
15-love.
According to the court pace index report, Louis Armstrong, where we are today, is the slowest court of all.
Is that just today, or is that going to be the whole event? That you are a font of information. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's medium pace. That's what we have on Armstrong. Grandstand, court 17, etc. are all medium fast. Just Arthur Ashe and Louis Armstrong a little bit slower.
It doesn't feel slower to Burel right now. It feels
very fast.
It feels like it's lightning with what's coming at her.
An ice skating rink.
Yes, yes.
She can't be enjoying this hugely. Just needs a little bit more time on the ball than she's been allowed today.
Well, historically, when you play someone like Sabalenka, who the match is in her control, you're the opponent, you just think to yourself, I've got to weather the storm. She's going to cool down. But with the change in her game where she gives herself margins, it makes such a difference. Because if you think about Burel's last match, she played another one of the big hitters in the game in Pliskova. But Pliskova, who hits much flatter than Sabalenka, Pliskova gave you points, gives her points. And this is the complete opposite today. That was Greg calling that, right? As he said, I'm going to call the footballs.
Second serve. Out. 30-40.
One break point saved, one more to come for Burel, who really had a great summer on the clay courts. Won an ITF title in Montpellier, got to the final in Lausanne, a semi-final in Strasbourg, quarter-final in Palermo. However, on the hard court, she's only got 9 tour-level main draw wins, and that's in her entire career.
Deuce.
And that she pulled up a little bit, didn't have the balance that we're used to seeing on those groundies. Makes a difference. And there, the nice first serve, and this would be huge for Burel just to get your teeth into this second set. And this crowd is going to try to help her along with that. I want to see a match.
Biggest serve of the match, 105. A lot of players talk about if a set is one-sided, how dangerous their opponent can be.
Absolutely. Was it Taylor Fritz who always said, oh, you know, you win a 6-love set, you are in huge trouble. And then did he play Djokovic and lost the set 6-love? It's like, okay, got you now.
Both those men you just mentioned are still up and running in this tournament. Novak Djokovic, a little by the skin of his teeth. Came back from 2-0 down against Laszlo Djere.
Talk about confidence. He just didn't miss a beat. Lost those first 2 sets. It was like, okay, got you where I wanted you. Just cruise through those next 3 sets. Just so aware, so attuned to his game, his body. I mean, just was a different player those final 3 sets.
There was only a 70-mile second serve, but Clara Burel does manage to survive. That's a very, very important hold for her. 7% humidity today, 23 degrees Celsius.
That's her second good morning. Okay, take that.
Just can't leave anything short, can you? He's going to get boshed back. She was broken 3 times by her first round opponent, Aryna Sabalenka. That was Marina Zanevska, who now is retired since she was living with a back injury for about 4 years and just couldn't continue, couldn't practice as she wants. So Zanevska all waves adieu. Jody Boric didn't manage to break Aryna Sabalenka in round 2. And Burel so far hasn't come close.
Yep. And she's serving better, Sabalenka, than she was when she started struggling in the spring, late in the spring. Higher percentage, and as her guru says, if you double fault more than 5 times, you're in trouble. You cannot double fault more than 5 times in a match.
That's the magic number.
Yep, and a A very good service day is you're at 70%. Decent is you've got to still be over 60%. So, you know, she's got that in her head. She knows what she's going for, what the margins need to be.
Oh, a little foray to the net. Clara Burel does like a target. She's good at that. She keeps the ball low on the attempted pass. This time, Sabalenka not quite able to volley. She's a good doubles player too, isn't she, Sabalenka?
Yes, she is. And when she won here, I think she might have won with Mertens. She did. It was in that final. I remember that final where she just, not Mertens is a great doubles player, but it was Sabalenka who carried the day. She was that good. Has very nice hands, nice feel.
2021 was when she won with Elise Mertens. Since the end of that year, she hasn't really played too much doubles. Mertens, of course, teaming up now with Storm Hunter, but they were surprise first-round losers this week.
And I think Sabalenka, they made that decision. She made the decision. I am focusing on the singles as good as I am.
I was wondering at the start of 22, that was when Sabalenka had some of the service yips, wasn't it? Whether actually not playing doubles had affected her singles career. It's her partner on the hitting court, Andre, right in the middle there. Did you have a big team around you when you were in full force?
Oh, yes. Yes, you're looking at the team. No. Always at the U.S. Open. My coach always came to the U.S. Open, but those times were, you know, they were different, where we were so reliant on our fellow players, you know, warming up, practicing. You know, they're really, a couple of players had teams. Martina had a team, as you would put it in quotations.
She had Craig. Oh, good catch. I think he's going to be recruited for the baseball team, isn't he? The Mets are looking.
That was pretty impressive.
Get yourself into trouble these days by doing that. Have to be very careful.
And some players get subsidized by their federations now. You know, some of the younger players, you would think Burel has gotten a lot of help from the French Federation. You know, the USTA, is United States Tennis Association, has focused on giving help, and obviously with the training centers, and have places for the players to go and play together.
It was a wonderful backhand, wasn't it, from Burel on the penultimate shot? Just misses the forehand a little.
And you know, you mentioned teams, and now there's coaching on court, where there was always a little bit of something going on, but it wasn't legal. Now it's legal, and there are parameters around it, but even more important for the coaches now.
Second game in a row then, Sabalenka with a couple of breakpoint chances. The French Tennis Federation are watching Burel today. Their main player Garcia, of course, out. Oh, that's a beautiful strike.
30-40.
Allez, Clara, allez.
An inevitable break. Sabalenka takes her second opportunity, and she's made a move here in set two. Now leads by a set and 2-1. Very strong position. Is there anything at this point, Elise, that Burel can do a little differently?
You know, if you're Burel, I would try to loop the ball. If I can get into a rally, I would try, what can I do to negate some of this power? Well, you can, obviously you need depth, and I would try to loop some balls deep, get her out of her comfort zone, but that's just so difficult.
Delicious, arguably the best shot of the day.
Carlitos, you have nothing on me. And there is no question the presence of Alcaraz in the game is changing everyone's mindset. You did not see these forehand drop shots. You didn't see players really trying that. But Alcaraz has really transform the game a little bit in showing what you can do if you have a great drop shot off the forehand side. And it's just put it into everyone's head. Ah, there's something to this.
And it's an extra element, isn't it, to Sabalenka's game, because we saw on the point when she delivered the drop shot how fierce she hits the ball. She's taking Burel corner to corner to corner. Well, let's have that finishing shot.
Yeah, and when I played, it would never even cross anyone's mind to hit a drop shot off the forehand side. Everyone, you knew how to drop shot off the backhand. We all drop shotted off the backhand, but it just wasn't even in the thought process. And
there's no grip change.
Yep, and then here you've got this young guy coming up, Alcaraz, who obviously has implemented, that's all along has been part of his game, and people are seeing that, whoa, makes a huge difference. Not easy to learn.
So satisfying to hit, though, if you hit a good one.
30 all.
So that will go in the unforced error category for the world number 2. 8 unforced errors now to go along with her 16 total winners. That was a return that Burel really, you felt, needed to make. Going over the higher part of the net. Not quite sure how sensible that was. Perhaps caught it a little late.
And you asked what she could do in the old days. You could maybe slow things down. Now with the with the clock, you can't do that.
Tie your shoelaces, scratch your head.
You exactly. But do you change your position on the return? Does she try to give her a different look? Do you try to get in her head? Just anything.
You wait for Aryna Sabalenka to hit a double fault.
And, how do you get into someone's head on the serve? You move around. You stand almost back at the fence. You just give them a different look, and they at least have to pause for a moment. But that's a little bit on a wing and a prayer. And you see that.
But it's something, isn't it?
Yeah. You see the shot, the serve clock. 20 seconds in between points.
First serve from Sabalenka, percentage-wise, has dropped for the match. Pretty optimum 63 has gone in. She's able to back up her second serve beautifully, isn't she?
Yeah, and you would even look at a shot like that and think, is that really high percentage? She's behind the baseline, but just did give her plenty of spin over the net and did give herself enough margin, and she was going over the center of the net, not the high part of the net.
Anything above 50% behind your second serve is very good. Oh, that is a delightful back behind volley. Does she mean it to be so good? I think by her smile there, she probably didn't.
Second set.
Gives you a great shot of the footwork. Look how she moves forward and got it out of the way enough, just enough. Had that racket head in front, and good things can happen when you have your racket in the right position, and you know, so what if it looks a little awkward?
Sabalenka has been pushed to deuce a couple of times behind her serve, but so far has not faced a break point. And you can stay connected to the US Open on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube. Join the conversation with hashtag US Open. I know Elise Bergen, for one, is on TikTok.
She hasn't even done it. She's not even on Instagram yet. So she's working her way toward these things.
Facebook?
That one.
Okay, we have a tick.
And is it X? It's now X. Well, Burel's got to, she's just got to calm herself down a little bit in her mind. A shot like that, she had enough time, but it's just that mounting pressure, constant pressure she's under.
Burel in the third round of a major for the third time in her career. She's never moved past this round, and it doesn't look like anything will change. Jabeur next in the quarterfinals. It's been that kind of match for Clara Burel. When she's needed to get the ball in play, it just hasn't happened for the Frenchwoman today.
And hit a nice return there, and you're not going to go toe-to-toe with Sabalenka with power. And maybe if she can just figure out a way, just try to loop some balls, just show her anything different.
She tried to make a difference, didn't she, Burel, as the clock has just struck 12 midday. Gets past with the Sabalenka backhand.
Yeah, well, this shot from Sabalenka, absolutely fabulous. On the run, incredible balance off the backhand. Maybe one of the toughest shots in the game, and my, did she produce something special there.
8 points on the bounce now, and I think fitness trainer Jason Stacey is sitting there with a big smile on his face. All the hard work is paying off in spades. Looking for her second major title. A rare winner from Burel. It's great to see that she still has some hope.
30-15.
You rarely get anything short from Sabalenka, and she took advantage of it. Nicely done there, changing direction. Kept the unforced error count down, Sabalenka. But you watch that second serve, just terrific margin in terms of just has that kick. And you feel if she serves that way, it gives her a lot of safety, even on that second serve.
A first breakpoint chance for Clara Burel. And a couple of points where Sabalenka has made the error. Burel getting a nice deep return in play. Burel knocked out the 25th seed Aryna Sabalenka in the second round here at the US Open last year. She knocked out the 25th seed Karolina Pliskova in the second round this time around. There it is again. It's just another string to her bow, isn't it?
And Burel did everything right that point. Hit a terrific return of serve off of a good serve. Got herself in the point. Showed that her movement is extremely good. And then Sabalenka just showing more nuance to her game. Again, that little slice forehand saved the game for her.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
Good second serve there, and one of the things I do like that we're seeing from Burel, she's competing. She's hanging in there and hoping for just that dip in the play of Sabalenka, which did get her a break point.
You just never know, do you? Things can change quickly in this sport.
And this game, you would say if there's been a dip, it's happening right here in this service game of Sabalenka. And if you're Burel, you just got to keep working and saying, give me this break and I may be back in this.
Got to cling on to something. Keep playing until the very final ball. We've seen amazing things happen, particularly in the women's circuit this year. Over 50 matches have been won from match point down.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
Mertens, she did it twice in a row.
Twice in a row.
It's just unbelievable.
To Miriam Bjorklund, the fiancée, of course, of Denis Shapovalov, and then to Danielle Collins. Was leading, wasn't she, last night against Coco Gauff? Ran out of steam in the end. Just missed. And I wonder, Elise, it just seems like Sabalenka is, well, no one's really talking about her, and I think that's largely because of the comeback queens, the Caroline Wozniacki, the Svitolinas of this world, and of course the US players, Coco Gauff and Jessie Pegula, taking the headlines.
Which she's probably okay with, Sabalenka. She gets a lot of attention.
Advantage, Sabalenka.
Semi-finalists this year, Sabalenka in Roland Garros, Wimbledon and Cincinnati. Each time she lost those semi-final matches in 3 sets. So we take another beautiful look at the overview of the Billie Jean King National Tennis Centre. And Clara Burel continues to try and make life as difficult for the world number 2 as she can. Has 2 top 30 victories to her name. None so far against a top 10er. The longest game of the match so far. Burel has had, of course, a break point. Wonderful double play. Wide serve, big forehand. 20 winners so far.
Smart serve, kicked it didn't go for the huge first serve.
Sabalenka leads 5 games to 1.
High tennis IQ. It hasn't always been the case for Sabalenka, who's gone for power when she gets slightly panicked or slightly rushed. Just working things out and closing in on a third round victory. Can Burel extend her stay?
And the shot, we talk about the serve and the other shot of Sabalenka, it was not a weakness early in her career, but certainly wasn't consistent as the forehand, and that's where she really worked. Instead of taking that racket back straight, she used to take it straight back, and it was the idea that the racket had been linear and flat, as they said, and then she started taking it back vertically, which is every great forehand takes that racket back vertically and makes all the difference. See?
There's one, and she can do it on her knees.
It's just crazy. Quite the way to get to match point.
She's got 3 of them. An hour exactly on the Rolex. And boom, just like that, it's Aryna Sabalenka back in the 4th round of the US Open.